Good day to each and everyone. I am Jenny D. Libot. I will be presenting to you about job satisfaction. So, job satisfaction is a pleasurable emotional state resulting from the appraisal of one's job or job experiences. So, job satisfaction is one of the several individual mechanisms that directly affects job performance and organization commitment. So if employees are very satisfied with their jobs and experience positive emotions while working, they may perform their jobs better and choose to remain with the company, of course, for a longer period of time. So think about your current job or your previous job. What do you feel during the course of the day? How did those feelings influence the way you behave in terms of your time spent on task and citizenship behaviors rather than counterproductive or withdrawal behaviors? So, job satisfaction, it represents how you feel about your job and what you think about your job. So employees with high job satisfaction experience positive feelings when they think about their duties or take part in task activities. Employees with low job satisfaction experience negative feelings when they think about their duties or take part in their task activities. So, what explains why some employees are more satisfied than others? So, at a general level, employees are satisfied when their job provides the things that they value. So talking about values, so values are those things that people consciously or subconsciously want to seek or attain. So what do you want to attain from your job? That is, what things do, do you want your job to give you? So is it a good wage? Is it a sense of achievement? So maybe perhaps you want colleagues who are fun to be with or to be around, or perhaps you need promotions. So if you had to make a list of the things you value with respect to your job, most or all of them would likely to show in this table. So this table summarizes the content of popular surveys of work values, broken down into more general categories. So many of those values deal with the things that your work can give you, such as good pay or the chance for frequent promotions. Other values pertain to the context that surround your work, including whether you have a good boss or good coworkers. Still, other values deal with the work itself, like whether your job tasks provide you with freedom or a sense of achievement. So in the list, consider which of the following will be your top five in terms of importance. Okay, so you think about your recent work, and then um, you try to evaluate yourself from those categories. Asa man ang pinakaimportante sa imuha? So, as you can see, different people value different things and that your values may change during the course of your working life. So, it may be like an example on my experience um when I was still a newly grad of architecture. Of course, we still have to take 2 years of apprenticeship, no? So, my importance no sa tanan categories dinhi, ang pinaka-importante sa ako during that time is supervision, because I needed my mentor to supervise me along the way for around 2 years before I take my board examination. So after I took my board exam and then I had already my license, of course, the important value nga naa na pud sa ako ang situation at nga life is the pay. So I wanted to look for a higher pay because when you are an apprentice, of course, below minimum, no, allowance lang na siya. May gani na allowance. So during the course of time sa ako ang life, when I had my license, of course, I need a greater pay. So I started to have my own firm, to have a design and build firm. So that was year 2014. And also I was a part-time instructor of Bohol Island State University during that time. So that was the an example that from the time being, no, as you journey along with your life, your value or the things that you value changes, no, along the course of time. So next we have here value percept theory. Value percept theory states here that this theory argues that job satisfaction depends on whether you perceive that your job supplies the things that you value. So this theory can be summarized with the following equation. So in this equation, V wants reflects how much of a value an employee wants, and V have indicates how much of that value the job supplies. And V importance reflects how important the value is to the employee. So big difference between wants and haves create a sense of dissatisfaction, especially when the value in question is important. Note that the difference between V wants and V haves gets multiplied by importance. So existing discrepancies get magnified for important values and minimized for trivial values. So for example, you really want to have a pay of like 70,000 pesos no a month. So that's the salary that you want. But then with your current job, you only have 50,000 as your salary. So you have a discrepancy of about 20,000 pesos. So this is a case-to-case basis. Again, with the formulas, you can see here, it is multiplied by the importance by the employee. So, for example, on my experience, let's just say with the example that I have given that, for example, I am expecting to have a 70,000 salary, but then I only have 50,000 salary. So the discrepancy of 20,000, even though there's a discrepancy of 20,000, because I don't value much of the pay for the moment, no, I value having good coworkers. So dili kaayo siya ingon ana ka bugat, no? Pero if my situation is I really do value the pay, there is a possibility that it's going to affect my decision making. So maybe I will say that dili sa lang ko no, I mean I'm not going to continue with my job because there is a big discrepancy of 20,000 and I really want to have the 70,000 salary to compensate what I need, no, to support my family. Okay? So the value percept theory also suggests that people evaluate job satisfaction according to specific facets of the job. After all, a job isn't one thing, no? It's a collection of tasks, relationships, and rewards. So in this figure, the most common facet that employees consider in judging their job satisfaction appears. So the figure includes the want versus have calculations that drive satisfaction with pay, promotion, supervision, coworkers, and the work itself. So this figure also shows how satisfaction with those five facets add together to create overall job satisfaction. You will also notice in this figure that values such as working for moral causes and gaining fame and prestige are not represented. Those values are missing because they're not as relevant in all jobs, unlike pay, promotions, and so forth. So This table summarizes the content of popular surveys of work values. So broken down into more general categories. So many of those values deal with the things that your work can give you, such as good pay or the chance for frequent promotions. Other values pertain to the context that surround your work, including whether you have a good boss or good coworkers. Still, other values deal with the work itself, like whether your job tasks provide you with a freedom or a sense of achievement. So in the list, consider which of the following will be your top 5 in terms of importance. So, at your own kanang pace, you think about among the categories here, asa may pinaka-importante sa imha. So as you can see, no? Again, different people value different things and that your values may change the course of your working life. So again, value percept theory, we have here pay satisfaction, no? It refers to employees' feelings about their pay, including whether it's as much as they deserve, secure, and adequate for both normal expenses and luxury items. So, similar to other facets, pay satisfaction is based on a comparison of the pay that employees want and the pay they receive. So, although more money is almost always better, no, most employees base their desired pay on a careful examination of their job duties and the pay given to comparable colleagues. So, as a result, even non-millionaires, like many of us, can be quite satisfied with the pay, no, that we receive. So, for example, um I have a current worker. Let's just name him Bortano. He's one of my deaf workers on site sa construction. So si Bortano, he is my labor, no, one of my laborers. So it's been a long time na si Bortano, labor lang good siya. He's been my labor for a very long time. And then I told him, why don't you learn a new skill para mosaka ang imong pay? But he told me, I am satisfied with my pay. I don't want any promotion because promotion can lead to more responsibilities, no? So that's why si Bortano until now laborer lang gyud siya, no? Different ba nga to ang panglangtaw? So next we have here tong dimension ako ganina like ni Bortano dili siya ganag promotion but maybe no, unlike pay some employees may not want frequent promotions, no? Because promotions bring more responsibility and increased work hours. However, many employees value promotions because they provide opportunities for more personal growth. So a better wage also, no? And more prestige. So promotion satisfaction refers to employees' feelings about the company's promotion policies and their execution, including whether promotions are frequent, fair, based on ability. So we have here another from the value percept theory. We have the supervision satisfaction. Supervision satisfaction reflects employees' feelings about their boss, of course, no? Including whether the boss is competent, polite, and a good communicator rather than lazy, annoying, and too distant. So most employees ask 2 questions about their supervisors. Number 1, can they help me attain the things that I value? Number 2, are they generally likable? So the first question depends on whether supervisors provide rewards for good performance, help employees obtain necessary resources, and protect employees, of course, no, from unnecessary distractions. The second question depends on whether supervisors have good personalities as well as values and beliefs similar to the employees' philosophies. Okay, basin daig taganan sa tong boss, no? That's also the reason why muundang ang trabahante. So another one from the value percept theory, we have coworker satisfaction. So coworker satisfaction refers to employees' feelings about their fellow employees, including whether coworkers are smart, responsible, helpful, fun, and interesting. No? So employees ask again two questions about their coworkers. Number one, can they help me do my job? No, especially when you are new, 'di ba? We always ask, "Oy, can somebody help me with my job?" No? Number two, do I enjoy being around them? The first is critical because most of us rely to some extent on our coworkers when performing job tasks. The second question, however, also is important because we spend just as much time with coworkers as we do with family members. Okay? So, here, value percept theory, satisfaction with the work itself. Satisfaction with the work itself, it means it reflects employees' feelings about their actual work task, including whether those tasks are challenging, interesting, respected, and make use of key skills rather than being dull, repetitive, and uncomfortable. So this facet focuses on what employees actually do. After all, even the best boss or most interesting coworkers can't compensate for 40 or 50 hours of complete boredom each week. So how can employers instill a sense of satisfaction with the work itself? Now, one way is to emphasize the most challenging and interesting part of the job. Okay, next here, this figure suggests that satisfaction with the work itself is the single strongest driver of overall job satisfaction. Supervision and coworker satisfaction are also strong drivers, and promotion and pay satisfaction have moderately strong effects. So if you think about your work situation, it is not always that we think about our pay, 'di ba, or our salary. It's not just dili man siya like every minute yun we think about our pay or salary. Maybe we think about it when the time when it is delayed, no? Or when it is about time to make our DTR, 'di ba? So we may also want promotion, but we don't necessarily like think about the whole week or whole day. So we can conclude that spending time with coworkers and supervisors are higher than those two facets since at work we spend most of our time with them. So as a result, it's hard to be satisfied with our job if we don't like what we are doing. So here we have satisfaction with the work itself. So we'll focus here. We have critical psychological states, no? Research suggests that the three official psychological states make work satisfying. So, the first psychological state is believing in the meaningfulness of work. So, it means it reflects the degree to which work tasks are viewed as something that counts in the employee system of philosophies and beliefs. So, trivial tasks tend to be less satisfying than tasks that make employees feel like they are aiding the organization or society in some meaningful way. Diba? So, the second psychological state is perceiving responsibility for outcomes. Okay, which means captures the degree to which employees feel that they are key drivers of the quality of the unit's work. So sometimes employees feel like their efforts don't really matter because Work outcomes are dictated by effective procedures, efficient technologies, or more influential colleagues. Finally, the third psychological state is knowledge of results, which reflects the extent to which employees know how well or how poorly they are doing. So many employees work in jobs no in which they never find out about their mistakes or notice times when they did not particularly do well. So let us try to think about the times when we felt especially proud no of a job well done. At that moment, you were probably experiencing all three psychological states, no? So you were aware of the result. So the next question, what kinds of tasks create these psychological states? So in job characteristics theory, this theory argues that five core job characteristics results in high levels of the three psychological states, making work tasks more satisfying. So the five core job characteristics can be remembered in this acronym VISAF or VISAF. This means variety, identity, significance, autonomy, and feedback. So here we have the job characteristics theory diagram. So we have the variety, identity, significance, autonomy, and feedback. So let's try first to visit variety. So variety is the degree to which the job requires a number of different activities that involve a number of different skills and talents. So when variety is high, almost every workday is different in some way, and job holders rarely feel a sense of monotony or repetition. So evidence indicates that our preferences for variety is hardwired into our brains. Research in psychiatry and neuroscience shows that the brain releases a chemical called dopamine. So whether a novel stimulus like a new painting, no, a new meal, a new work challenge is experienced, and we tend to find this dopamine release, no, quite pleasurable. Ganahan ta ana kanang dopamine. So next is identity. Identity is the degree to which the job requires completing a whole identifiable piece of work from beginning to end with a visible outcome. So, when a job has high identity, employees can point to something to say. The transformation from inputs to finished product is very visible, and the employee feels a distinct sense of beginning and closure. So try to think about how you feel when you work for a while on some project but don't quite get it finished. Does that lack of closure bug you? So for example, no, me as an architect, I do not like the feeling that we have an unfinished project or an unfinished building, even though, like, for example, the problem will be the lack of funds from the owners, yung ana, still, on my part, I really want to complete the project. Okay? So there is no sense of identity for an unfinished project. Kay lisod kaayo kung ingon ana, no? So next, we have the variety, the identity, and next is the significance. So here we have significance. It is the degree to which the job has a substantial impact on the lives of other people, particularly of course, people in the world at large. So virtually any job can be important if it helps put food on the table for a family, send kids to college, or make employees feel like they are doing their part for the working world. That said, significance as a core job characteristic captures something beyond that, the belief that this job really matters. So when employees feel that their jobs are significant, they can see that others value what they do, no? And they are aware that their job has a positive impact on the people around them. So there is a sense that if their job was taken away, society would be the worse for it. So next, we have autonomy. Autonomy, when your job provides autonomy, okay, it is a degree to which the job provides freedom, independence, and discretion to the individual performing the work. So when your job provides autonomy, you view the outcomes of it as the product of your efforts rather than the result of careful instructions from your boss or a well-written manual of procedures. To many of us, high levels of autonomy are the difference between having a long leash and being micromanaged. So next, we have the feedback. Feedback is the degree to which carrying out the activities required by the job provides employees with clear information about how well they are performing. So a critical distinction must be noted. Huh? This core characteristic reflects feedback obtained directly from the job as opposed to feedback from coworkers or supervisors. Because sometimes like feedback from our coworkers or from our supervisors, like it may happen like only once a year or twice a year or sometimes none at all. So when the job provides its own feedback, the feedback can be experienced almost every day. So this figure, as you can see, it includes two more variables, and that is knowledge and skill, growth, need, strength. These variables are called moderators rather than directly affecting other variables in the diagram. So moderators influence the strength of the relationship between variable. If employees lack the required knowledge and skill or lack the desire for growth and development, more variety and autonomy should not increase their satisfaction very much. However, when employees are very talented, of course, and feel a strong need of growth, the core job characteristics become even more powerful. A graphical depiction of this moderator effect appears in this diagram, where you can see that the relationship between the core job characteristics and satisfaction becomes stronger when growth need strength increases. So given how critical the five core job characteristics are to job satisfaction, many organizations have employed job characteristics theory to help improve satisfaction among their employees. So here, the first step in the process is assessing the current level of the characteristics to arrive at a satisfaction potential score. So let us try to answer the survey. So if you have ball pen and paper with you, you can jot down your answer and remember what question it belongs so that you can have a scoring. Okay? So first, let us answer together. No? Number one, the job causes me to draw on a number of different skills. So you're going to answer it. Number one, if it is very inaccurate. Number two, mostly inaccurate. Number three, slightly inaccurate. Number four, uncertain. Number five, slightly accurate. Number six, mostly accurate. And number seven, very accurate. So, seven nga Likert scale, no? So, number one, again, if you have finished answering that one, the job causes me to draw on a number of different skills. Number two, The job has a diverse set of tasks associated with it. Next, the job allows me to both start and finish something. I can see the end product of my work in this job. Next, the job affects a lot of people, even beyond my organization. And next, the job itself is significant in a societal sense. Societal sense. Okay. So after you answer that one, now I will give you time to answer. You're going to add the score. It's from V1, V2 to I1, I2, and S1 and S2. You're going to add that one and then divide it by 6. Now, it's very obvious here with our formula, no? So next, we are going to answer A1 and A2. I can use my own judgment in how I carry out the job. Next, the job gives me a lot of freedom and discretion. So again, you add that both and then you divide it by 2. Okay? And then next, the mere act of doing the job shows me how well I'm doing. And then the last one, it's easy to know how well I'm doing just from performing the job. So again, F1 and F2, you're going to add that one and then divide it by 2. And then just follow the formula. You multiply the three categories there. Nag-add up na to. And then that's going to be your answer. So I'll give you time. Kariyo lang. Maybe for about like 30 seconds. Okay. So, what is your score? So, if your score is 150 or above, your work task tends to be satisfying and enjoyable. If your score is less than 150, you might benefit from trying to craft your job by taking on more challenging assignments and collaborations or re-envisioning the way your job fits into the organization's mission. Okay? So, unsa may score ninyo? What's your score? So, after you have the survey, no? Kay mag-survey man kaani, the organization, together with job consultants, then attempts to redesign aspects of the job to increase the core characteristic levels. So often, this step results in job enrichment. So what is job enrichment? So job enrichment, duties and responsibilities associated with the job are expanded to provide more variety, identity, autonomy, and so forth. So, research suggests that such enrichment efforts can indeed boost job satisfaction levels. So, moreover, enrichment efforts can heighten work accuracy and customer satisfaction. Though training and labor costs tend to rise as a result of such changes, however, employees need not necessarily wait for enrichment efforts to improve levels of the core job characteristics. So, many employees, no, can engage in job crafting. So, employees shape, mold, and redefine their jobs in a proactive way. So that is job crafting. So for example, they might alter the boundaries of their jobs by switching certain tasks. They might change specific collaborative relationships, or they might re-envision how they view their work relative to the broader context of the organization's mission. No? So that is job crafting. So we have here moods and emotions. So job satisfaction reflects what you think and feel about your job. So part of it is rational, based on a careful appraisal of the job and the things it supplies. But another part of it is emotional, based on what you feel in your gut, no, while you're at work or thinking about work. So, satisfied employees feel good about their job on average. But things happen during the course of the day to make them feel better at some times, no, and worse at others. So, this figure here illustrates the satisfaction levels of one employee during the course of a workday from around 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So, satisfaction levels had several ebbs and flows during the next 8 hours. So, what's responsible for those ebbs and flows in satisfaction levels are two related concepts, which are mood and emotions. Moods are states of feeling that are often mild in intensity. So last only for like an extended period of time and are not explicitly directed at or caused by anything. So in the graph, no, from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m., ang employee is at first nag-answer siya og emails. And then from around 10, informal meeting on long-running project. From 12, of course, nag-lunch siya, no? Eating lunch with 3 friends. The next, nagka-alauna, preparation and research for new project. And then for the long hours, nag-brainstorming meeting for new project. And then at the end of the day, completing paperwork and filing. So, kani nga graph diri, so mo ni ang iyahang fluctuation sa iyahang emotion, no, from reading okay pa siya, no, okay pa siya sa adlaw, and then he read the email from the boss, so medyo na down ang iyang emotion. And then during the course of the day na ay informal meeting on long running project, so medyo saka gamay lang kayo ang iyang mood. And then pag lunch niya, there is a funny conversation with a friend, medyo na happy siya gamay. So padayon ang iyahang lunch break, happy siya ganing pag nag-return siya sa work, medyo na sad na sad siya. No? So, but during that time, during the brainstorming, na-realize niya how interesting and challenging the new project is. So, medyo taas ang height sa iyang emotion. And then suddenly, there's a phone call saying paperwork is overdue. So, paulit na sana siya, kaya lang na ay overdue na paperwork. So, namaot na sa iyang emotion. Okay? So, we have here different emojis. Okay. So, next, um, it turns out that there are a number of different moods that we might experience during the workday. So this figure summarizes the different moods in which people sometimes find themselves. So as we can see here, moods has two categories, pleasantness and activation. Okay. First, the horizontal axis of the figure reflects whether you feel pleasant or unpleasant. The figure uses green colors to illustrate pleasant moods and red colors to illustrate unpleasant moods. Second, the vertical axis of the figure reflects whether you feel activated and aroused or deactivated and aroused or unaroused. So the figure uses darker colors to convey higher levels of activation and lighter colors to convey lower levels. Note that some moods are neither good nor bad. So like here, as you can see, so being surprised and astonished and quiet or still are neither pleasant nor unpleasant. So as a result, those latter moods are left colorless. So we have here black and white. So moods and emotion. So let's try to look back to the previous figure, no, that we had. So that reflects the daily activities and the corresponding fluctuations of emotion. So here, siguro pag start niya, medyo okay pa ang iyang mood. Then, mo lagi nagisapot siya afterwards, no? After reading the email of the boss. Siguro na-insulto siya. There's an insulting email. And then afterwards, there's a funny conversation. Nalipay siya. So, medyo ningsaka ang iyang mood. Kaya lang, nag-left siya sa lunch. Medyo na sad siya, no? Kaya, syempre, go back to reality na sad, no? But then, pagbalik niya sa work, nagkuan sila, nag-brainstorming, no? They had discussion with the team. And then, na-realize sa kuan nga, it is very interesting. And the new project is really good, no? So, na-happy siya. Because, siguro na-fit sa iyahang skills, mo na happy siya kaayo. Kaya lang mo na-phone call, there's paperwork, and it's overdue. So, basi na, kung ano siya, no, gikapoy na siya sa iyang situation na at the end of the day. So, that is moods and emotions. Okay? So, although novel and unusual perks can be valuable, the most intense forms of positive mood often come directly from work activities, like the brainstorming project, no? Research suggests two conditions that are critical to triggering intense positive mood. First, activity in question has to be challenging. Second, the employee must possess the unique skills needed to meet the challenge. The high challenge, high skill combination can result in flow. So flow, a state in which employees feel a total immersion in the task at hand, sometimes losing track of how much time has passed. So people often describe, no, kaning flow ba? People often describe flow as being in the zone and report heightened states of clarity, no? So, employees feel a total immersion in the task at hand, yeah, sometimes losing track of how much time na ang ninglabay. So, people often describe flow again as being in the zone and report heightened states of clarity, control, and concentration, along with a sense of enjoyment, interest, and loss of self-consciousness. So next here we have the affective events theory. This theory explains that there are both positive and negative occurrences during the workday that can affect an employee's emotions and job satisfaction. So AET, or affective events theory, is about how the work environment emotionally affects workers and does not take into account any outside influences. So we have discussed about moods. Now we move on to emotions. So emotions are states of being of feeling that are often intense, last only for like a few minutes, and are clearly directed at someone or some circumstance. So the difference between moods and emotions becomes clear in the way we describe them to others. So sometimes when we describe mood by saying, I'm feeling grouchy, but then we describe emotion by saying, I'm feeling angry at my boss. Suko yun ko. So according to affective events theory, these emotions can create ebb and flow in satisfaction levels and can also trigger spontaneous behaviors. Okay? So we have already discussed the emotions. No mo akong giingon ganina. So it is possible to differentiate between specific examples of positive and negative emotions. So this table here provides summary of many of the most important. So positive emotions include joy, pride, relief, hope, love, and compassion, while negative emotions include anger, anxiety, fear, guilt, shame, sadness, envy, and disgust. So we have here the description on the right side of the table. So, of course, Just because employees feel many of the emotions during the workday doesn't mean they're supposed to show no these emotions. So matanaw na to diri no sa naghisgot ta mura na tag na dong sa inside out to different emotions. No? So it doesn't mean nga an employee is experiencing these different types of emotion, they are supposed to show those emotion. So some jobs demand that employees live up to the adage, never let them see you sweat. So we have the so-called emotional labor. So emotional labor is the need to manage emotions, to complete job duties successfully. So research on emotional contagion shows that one person can catch or infected by the emotion of another. So for example, kaning mga flight attendant or kaning mga naa sa front desk or even us kanang architects, dapat dili gyud po ka magpakita nga nasuko ka because it can affect no the other people around you. Or even sa situation lang nato sa balay, no? If you have a bad experience, then if you're going to show it to your family, mag sila pud maapektuhan pud sila. So from this perspective, emotional labor seems like a vital part of good customer service. So unfortunately, other evidence suggests that emotional labor places great strain on employees and that their bottled up emotions may end up bubbling over or sometimes resulting in angry outbursts against the customers or emotional exhaustions and burnout on the part of the employees. So here is a table that shows the summary of all the things that we have discussed so far. So like how rational appraisal of the job and the daily fluctuations and the feelings result to overall job satisfaction. So job satisfaction is also correlated moderately with citizenship behavior. So satisfied employees engage in more frequent extra mile because they are satisfied. They do extra mile, no, behaviors to help their coworkers and their organization. So job satisfaction influences organizational commitment. So because job satisfaction is strongly correlated with effective commitment, so satisfied employees are more likely to want to stay with the organization. So of course, kung happy ta no, magpabilin gyud ta ana nga work. So we have here life satisfaction. Of course, job satisfaction is important for other reasons as well. Reasons that have little to do with job performance or organizational commitment. So, life satisfaction is the degree to which employees feel a sense of happiness with their lives. So, research shows that job satisfaction is one of the strongest predictors of life satisfaction. So, put simply, people feel better about their lives when they feel better about their jobs. Tama. So, this link makes sense when you realize how much of our identity is wrapped up in our jobs. So, for example, no, nakaipaila-ila nga friend or like your partner. We usually ask, uy, unsay work nimo or unsay buhat nimo. Even in Korea, adako kayog importance nila, what is your job? So if you don't feel like answering the question nga what is your job or what do you do, if you don't feel like answering that, it's hard to feel good about your life, no? Kay mura kag maghunahuna ka nga, dahil mura mo kung like kwenta ni wala ko'y work, di ba? So life satisfaction here. Now, this table presents the results of one study that examines time spent on daily activities, along with reported levels of positive and negative feelings during the course of those activities. So, here's a table. We can show an activity, and then the average hours per day, and the positive feelings and the negative feelings. Okay? Tanawon ninyo, on the phone, no, 2.5, ang kinadakuan gyud nga time is ang working, no? We spend grabe gyud nga hours. We have positive feelings and negative feelings. And then imagine if you're going to kanang kuan dat ba? Multiply that one sa imong tibuok nga work, I mean sa imong tibuok nga life. Okay? So, as you can see here, ang pinakataas nga um kuan level of positive feelings is the intimate relationship, no, sa atong family or like sa atong partner. Dako siya og positive feelings na makuha, and then less ang negative feelings. Especially for like nay kuan ani kanang interacting with our kids, no? And then praying and meditating, 4.35. Dako kay siya positive feelings. Kaya lang also exercising, kaya lang kasagaran sa working gamay ra kayo ang spend time ana, no? Even in like intimate relations, naa stage, no, sa couple nga medyo mauna pa gyud ang mga bata. So, this table shows that because we spend most of our time at work, it is vital that work should be satisfactory. Work should be satisfactory because as you can see here sa table, we spend most of our lifetime working. So indeed, increases in job satisfaction have a stronger impact on life situation than do increase in salary or income, no? So it turns out that the adage money can't buy happiness is particularly true, no? So mo to siya tanan, meaning job satisfaction dako siya og relationship sa ato ang happiness overall. So that ends my presentation for today. Thank you so much for listening. And this is Architect Jenny Divino Lipot, and that was job satisfaction. Thank you very much.